Hi, today I would like to show you how you can migrate or you can start to migrate your application from the original Swift version to a SwiftUI solution. So I decided to start to migrate my old application, which is already on the market and it's running well. Created originally in Objective-C, and then later on I changed it to Swift, and now as Swift2 is getting more and more in use, let's say, I was thinking about to start to look into this solution and basically to be prepared for the future and maybe further adjustments or improvement or even maybe new features in the application. I would only start to build it in SwiftUI. The application itself is quite complex already, so as you can see here I have many forms or scenes already, and all of these should be migrated into SwiftUI. And so far I haven't seen any migration tool, and I'm not surprised because this would be a quite difficult job to do. So everything needs to be manually changed or manually updated to follow the new design concept with the SwiftUI solution. But I will explain what basically I found out during this migration process. At first I start with the login screen, which is the first screen when my application is starting up, and it's quite simple. So it's a good point to start to look into the actual solution with SwiftUI. So I started with the design elements only. So I'm not putting any logic into the application so far, just the user interface I try to migrate into SwiftUI solution. So as you can see, the original one was created in a storyboard, and as such in the storyboard you need to place all the controls on the screen, and then you need to make let's say links to your actions or procedures or functions to the respective elements. So if I want to show these links, I need to go to the assistant here, and I can also start to look into the actions. If I click on the with the right mouse button, you can see that on the button I need to call the submit button pressed action, and actually I need to find it here in the application itself. And as you can see that I have many functions already inside this form. So whenever I want to deal with something, then I need to go there and try to find it out where it is. So it makes a bit difficult to manage the code via the form, a separate form, and the application code itself. And also the other thing, which is also let's say a bit difficult, is to always find the right alignment things. So basically these alignments here that what is set up on the form, and also you might have things like on this button, as you can see I have a text on it, and I apply the shadow to it. So here you can see that I have a shadow offset on the text. So but basically as you can see, you have many things on a screen, and when you set it up, you need to come to this properties window here and fill out those things what you want to apply to a button or to a text field or a label, and this is somewhat not really easy to follow, and you might have mismatches between the different scenes. You might set up something differently, maybe you miss something which was set up here, and it's a bit difficult. So actually this is the first thing what I found a bit easier to manage on the SwiftUI when I was creating the this page, let's say, or this form. So if I show how it runs, so basically, as you can see, I have an animation here when the line screen is disappearing, and then the logo of the application is moving up, and then the rest of the scene is appearing into place, and then you can start to enter your username and email address. So once it is set up, of course, it can work fine. However, I also found something here that I made a mistake with this text here, because not the full text is available, and actually this label is only getting the content when you are either loading the front or pressing the registration button or the login button, because this button itself is changing the text as you enter the username and the email address, and then it's checking if the email address is right, and you set up an email or a username as well, and then it actually allows to press the button, the registration button. As you can see, it's now grayed out. So this one, I mean, the first setup what I started with the SwiftUI, and let's jump into it right away. So as you can see here in the setup, I have the text fields, button, a link field or link text field, copyright message, and also here is a spinner. Basically this is showing or indicating that the application is already checking for the user if the user is valid and the email address is available in the database on the web, and once it is available, then this button is changing to login instead of registration. And of course, if you change the email address, then it turns again back to registration. So the first step is that I created this this form itself, and now I go to the form in the. So I created the first screen, so this login screen, just as it is on the original application. The only difference, of course, that I don't have any animation at the moment, and maybe I will not implement the animation because it doesn't really necessary. So what I did here is, of course, when I created the application, I got this main, let's say, application structure, and the template was creating also a view which was called content view. I changed it to login view now, but of course I had to change it here as well. And later on, of course, this will be extended with the rest of the views, but at this moment I just focus on the login screen. So the first thing what I placed here is the icon, and actually my elements on the screen will be in a vertical stack. So everything which is inside this one is only in a V stack. So I'm not placing anything to the left or to the right. I'm just placing top down everything. There will be only one difference, is that the spinner will be placed into a separate stack, let's say, to show it above the the email address text field. So you can use the images from the assets just as in the other version. So where you are placing an image on a storyboard layout, you can also use it here. Just placing this is a PNG file, and I placed it into the assets, and then I can simply call the image by name, and then it will appear. So the things what I had to do here is that I had to place or I wanted to resize the icon to a certain size. So I have a different size, of course, for the original icon. And if I'm starting to change the size here, you can see that this is already changing it in the preview. What is important to mention that of course to see this preview on your Xcode screen, you need to define a preview at the bottom of the file, and this will make sure that you will see what you are doing. Of course, sometimes you need to recompile the application. Sometimes this view itself goes into a kind of sleep mode. Otherwise, it is looking for any changes. If you are not changing anything which might affect the view itself, then this might be in a kind of standby phase or sleep mode, and you need to request it to get it out from this mode and show what you were doing. But for example, if you are coding your application and you are not changing the surface itself, then this might be the case. Okay, so I'm writing it back to 200 because this is what I think it was 180 in the original application. So let's put it to 180. So then the application followed it, and of course here I put it or aligned it to the top of the stack. Then I selected or I used the text here, which is basically the title of this page. Could be login or in Hungarian this is a different one. And then I was using a font which with the predefined version, which is this title 2. And of course you can select others. So if you say title, then it will be much bigger. For me the title 2 was much nicer. Then I also use the font weight as bold. So this is basically what I just mentioned on the storyboard solution, that you have those properties on the right side, and you basically adjust what you need to adjust, but you can see all the properties, and it's very easy to miss something. So here it is a bit easier because once you define an element, you already need to define let's say those modifiers which will define actually that how this element should look like. Okay, then I have again a text field here with the username, and then it has a different title, character or font type, but it's also bold. And I was padding it from the top. Actually, you can define a standard padding for the VStack itself, and you can modify individually within the stack or within the view these elements, each one separately, if you want to align them differently to each other. And this is again something which makes it, I would say, easier to control, because you can see already here what you did in the layout or the storyboard version. You need to go to a certain point where you can check these alignments, and then you need to adjust one by one these values. Okay, the next one is a text field. So here we will have a text which the user will enter, and for sure I will need to add something behind actually to check the that the user is entered an acceptable username. And the other modifier here is the text field style. So actually, if you don't have here anything, so I cross it out or I use it, you can see that there is no border around. Maybe I should make it a bit bigger. It's more visible. So here you don't have the frame around the text field. So if you want to have it, then you need to have a modifier. And what is also nice here is that you can already put a placeholder here. So you can, once you define the text field, you put inside this first string here, and then this will appear as a grayed out text, and you can tell to the user what to be entered here. Okay, the next one is again a text with the email address, and again a text field. But here what you can see already, okay, I cannot move here, so let's make it a bit bigger. Okay, so what I did here is that above the text field I put this spinner, and this you can do on a way that you can add the Z stack here, and basically the Z stack will be rendered behind this text field itself, and the elements inside will be placed in a Z stack. So these will be placed after each other. So if I would change here the order, you will see that how the Z stack is behaving. So once I put it here, you can see that the spinner itself disappeared. If we would place this maybe -8, then you will see that it's already coming out at the end of the border. So it's actually showing that the Z stack is let's say what is earlier is lower in the Z stack. So now this one is behind the text field itself. So we should move it in front, and we can do it like this. So now I move it back inside the text field itself. So what you can also recognize here is that there is an if statement. So this part of the UI content, let's say, should be visible when this variable here is true. So to have this, you can define a state property here, and this state property, if the state property is changing, this form will be evaluated again. So you will see that now to test this behavior, I was changing this variable to false when I'm clicking on the registration button. But okay, so yeah, so I placed here this progress view. Not talking about the settings, but of course you can set the opacity of the thing, and the size of it, and padding to the other thing. And of course, what is also important here is that the Z stack is aligned to the trailing. So everything what you place inside this one is actually aligning to the trailing section of the stack. Okay, so then the next one is again a text field, nothing special. Then one thing what is also important here is that the padding. So I wanted to have this text padded from the left and the right, so the leading and the trailing edges as well, top and bottom. And I recognized that if I try to use the padding on a way that I was defining top, like just defining this one here, so using it after the padding, then the compiler itself was showing a failure, so you couldn't see anything changing. And it turns out that that actually padding can only accept one parameter at a time. So if you say padding top 16, then padding bottom 0, and then you can do this, but you can't use padding with one line using more let's say padding elements. Or you can define padding 16, then all around each padding variable or each padding value will be the same. But what you can do is that you can use this padding edge inset, and then the edge insets you can define the padding from the sides. Okay, the next one is a button, and here you can see that for the button there is an action defined as well with a function which will be below. So here the function is defined and is just, you know, switching the variable, which is basically showing and hiding the spinner itself. And then another text is then the button text itself. Again, it's very handy that you don't need to have a separate solution for the text inside. You can define the button as a kind of layer, and then you can add the text to it, and with the text you can define again that how it should look like. So I was using a title 3 font, a bold font, white, the padding from the borders were 16, then the shadow for the text itself is black and with the opacity of 1, and the radius is 2, and I was placing it a little bit to the bottom right, and then it's generating this nice 3D effect on the text. Then here the button is defined with a frame. So actually I was defining a minimum width, an ideal width, and a max width. So theoretically, if this button, or you change the size of the screen, so if you go from one size to another one, let's see. Okay, so of course you can see that basically the button is let's say behaving on a way that it doesn't really get much more bigger than it should be. But if we change the max width, maybe 400, and this one to 250, then of course it's going for the max width. But if we change back to iPhone E, you can see that this is going until the side of the screen. So basically this one is also interesting if you want to have a button which you want to, let's say, define on a way that it should not be too big, should not be too small, and there should be an ideal size. So you can play around with it. Okay, the other interesting thing here is that of course you can define a background color, and here I define this clip shape as a capsule, and this creates this rounded button. Instead of having the corner radius defined, because you can also define the corner radius, maybe 15. And then you can see that the button is not that nice rounded one, but with a corner radius of 15. If we define it to 2, then of course it will be almost a rectangle, as you can see. Maybe this is much more the one what I had before, but I like much better this other version with the capsule shape. So this one is for me much nicer. Okay, the next one is the text field, and here as you can see that there is a tab gesture defined, and this is a very easy thing to do. So basically here I most probably will define the original let's say function what I had in the application, but here I put in this this URL call and opening the built-in browser of the application. I'm not sure if it is working here. I haven't tested it. No, it doesn't work. But if I would run it in a simulator, and let's run it maybe in this one, then this should do the same what I had in my application, except that I'm not having a dialog box for that, but having the iOS browser, web browser loaded. So let's see, it's saying installing on, this should be here, yeah. Okay, starting up. I don't have a line screen here. Okay, so more or less it looked like the same. So let's test now this link. Oh yes, so it's calling the built-in browser, and then this will use the same thing. So you can see the application using thing. And I was talking about this. This button action here. So when I click on the set loading indicator, then basically when I click on it, you can see that the loading indicator is disappearing and appearing, and it's really very handy. You don't see any glitch on the surface. So it's simply doing the rendering of the screen that this portion is appearing or disappearing from the screen. So now the is loading is false, and now it's true. So based on that, this portion is appearing or disappearing, and this is really nice because you don't need to call any function to say that yeah, show this and hide this, and I don't know. So with this simple state here, once you set the state of this element, then this will be shown on the screen, or it will not be shown on the screen. Okay, the last thing here, what is interesting is that I have a copyright text here at the bottom of the screen, and actually to place this to the bottom of the screen, you can use a spacer, and once you use the spacer, everything below the spacer will be aligned to the bottom of the screen. So this is basically making a kind of separation between the top content and the bottom content, and this will be a spacer which will be let's say flexible spacer. So whatever is changing here on the size, this will not change the position of this copyright message. Okay, so far I just could get until this point, but actually you can see that instead of having the original storyboard with all these definitions here, having all the constraints defined, having also these let's say values here defined individually on this property sheet, it was quite quick and easy to simply define it as a layout here. I'm not saying that this is much better, because this might be also confusing when I will start to fill it up with the rest of the application code. So when I will define, that checking the web server for the user, giving feedbacks, loading a dialog box when the user wants to see the user rights and privacy statements. So these are making this more complex, of course, but at least the way how you define the screen itself seems to be much more clearer, much more nicer, because once you define all these, you can even copy paste these elements to another view, and then you don't need to redefine everything again. However, on the storyboard, when you have many similar let's say screens, like I can show you maybe some of these, for example. So here I have this screen and this screen, and actually these are pretty much the same. So theoretically I should be able to reuse them. But if you want to copy paste these, of course these elements are linked to different view controllers. So if you want to copy paste these, that's not easy, and sometimes you will see many failures when you do this copy paste and you try to use everything again. Actually, I had the problem with this, that I had to delete all the links and recreate them, so it was more or less the same effort than to create a complete new form. So hopefully with the SwiftUI this will be even easier, because I can copy paste the view design itself, and only change those elements where the content is different. Maybe I'm loading values from a different list or whatever. So I'm really looking forward for this solution, and how I can migrate my application into SwiftUI. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show today, and maybe I can also let's say give you a hint how you can start also to migrate from your storyboard solution to a SwiftUI solution. You can believe it will not be an easy job. So if you have a big application, you might considering twice to start it, but sooner or later I think it will be a useful thing to change over, because it might make your let's say improvement on your application or bug finding in your application easier if you change over to this solution. And most probably later on also the additional features you can implement much more easier, and maybe if these are also belonging to similar forms, similar scenes, then this will be also maybe easier to do. So I start to do this, and as you can see, I started to do this, and I will continue, and I will also share my experience with this, how you can basically control the application processes, the flow inside the application, and also there will be more difficult forms in my case as well, where these view creation is not that simple like for the login form, but I will need to have scroll views and placing elements under the scroll view, inside the scroll view. So these will be really difficult, I think, to convert all of this. But once it is done, I'm pretty sure that this will be better for the future. So I will come back, and the other thing is that I will also have another tutorial, or later I will have other tutorials for the Android Jetpack Compose solution, because I have the same application created in Android using let's say the original view design methodology, which is pretty much similar to the Storyboard solution. And in Android, the Jetpack Compose is also something similar like the SwiftUI, so it makes sense to change to Jetpack Compose as well, instead of using the normal form design solution, because once I'm changing here the application, then to basically develop the same application in a different design form in Android would be again a difficult thing. So once I'm changing over in SwiftUI, I need to change over to Jetpack Compose as well. So that's all, and if you like this tutorial, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And with this, I wish you happy coding, and see you next time. Goodbye.